Hi guys, thanks again for joining me with another video. Bit of change of scenery today. We're in week 3 of marathon training and I've had a setback. I'm going to tell you all about it. So that's right guys, I'm here in London. So Jenny, my wife, she works here, so I've just come to see her today. And so yeah, I've had a bit of a setback when it comes to my training. We're in week 3 of marathon training. We're on Wednesday and I haven't run at all this week. In fact, I haven't run for 5 days. And the reason being is I have a slight niggly injury to my left knee. So I've kind of diagnosed myself with a bit of runner's knee. It's very common, obviously, hence the name. It can be caused by a number of issues, one being overuse or muscular imbalances, or having muscle groups that aren't activated whilst running. And yeah, as a result, it's stopped me from running this week. And to be honest, I feel like I could run. There might be slight discomfort when I run, perhaps, but it's more of a choice of just being very, very careful. Hence, the reason being, we're still very early in this journey towards running my marathon, so I don't want it to become a bigger issue going forward, because runner's knee can become quite troublesome if you're not careful. So I've just taken these 5 days off to reevaluate and just analyse a few things and come up with a plan going forward. So I've got, after some thinking and some looking into my situation, I've kind of got to come up with my reasons for why this has happened to me. It's not an injury that I've really suffered with before. So I'm getting pain around or discomfort around my patella, so it's a new one for me. But I think there's a few reasons why it's happened. So first of all, I just want to address weekly mileage. So sometimes people get this injury if they increase their weekly mileage too quickly. Now I've done 50 miles in my first week and 55 in the second, something like that. And that weekly mileage for me is nothing incredible. I've done that mileage previously. However, I think I made a slight mistake on the build-up to my marathon training by dropping down my weekly mileage over Christmas. The reason I did that, I was just thinking, I've got 18 weeks of running ahead of me, so I'm just going to ease off. So in hindsight, what I should have done is probably kept my mileage fairly high on the weeks building up to the start of marathon training, just done lots of easy miles, so there wouldn't have been such an aggressive rise in my weekly mileage. So that's one reason why I think this might have happened. The next reason is an increase in mileage on the road and on the tarmac. I'm predominantly a trail runner and have done very little miles really on the tarmac. And last week in particular, I did most of my miles. Even though I planned not to, I did most of my miles on the tarmac. The reason being is I was a bit short on time, and I just thought it's quicker to get them done on tarmac. I think that was a mistake. Just because the nature of running on the road, on the tarmac, is it's quite linear in nature. You're moving in one plane of motion, quite flat ground, so your muscles are repeating the same movements over and over again. So if you've got any slight imbalances or any tightnesses going on, that's when you're going to get your overuse injuries. Whereas the trail's slightly different. You're having to make more lateral movements, so you're engaging different muscle groups, and there's less chance of overuse injuries, in my opinion. So I think that's one reason why that happened. Another reason why I think this has happened is just because I was perhaps forcing things a little bit last week. I had a very busy week of work. So I work for the ambulance service, and if I do 12-hour shifts, I'm leaving home at 5 in the morning or half 5 in the morning, and sometimes not getting back till about 8. So I was sometimes doing workouts when I was very, very tired, had very little time, so I was almost avoiding doing warm-ups and cool-downs. Big mistake. Definitely going to learn from that. So that's one big reason. I've got to listen to my body a bit more going forward. And finally, it kind of goes hand in hand with that last point, but I was neglecting my accessory exercises. So doing things to activate my glutes and keeping things strong in my core, making sure that I'm activating my core when I'm running. Just these maintenance exercises that help to keep you healthy when running high mileage, or running any mileage at all. So that was definitely an error. Again, that kind of comes down to making sure I have the time and prioritising accessory exercises over just blindly getting in the mileage. So yeah, a few things to think about. I'm not too worried about it. I think it should be okay going forward. I'm going to run tomorrow, for example, and we'll see how we get on. I always think that you can approach injuries in a certain way. You can just get really negative about it and just go into your shell, or you can just find solutions and stay positive going forward. So that's what I'm going to do. I always find that injuries are actually a great way of getting to know your body a bit more, how your body moves, how your body works, what your body requires to stay healthy. So if you approach an injury in a positive way like that, it's going to be better for your mental health, and I think it's going to help you recover quicker because you're going to be proactive in getting better. So guys, yeah, it's the next day and I've just been out for my first run in several days and it felt amazing. So good to be back out. The knee feels good. Went super slow. I've gone about 4 miles, so not very far, but out on the trails. It was just lovely to get outside and be training again and have that confidence in my knee. So yeah, I mean, what do I want to take away from this experience? And maybe some advice I can give you guys if you're suffering with some injuries. But I guess it's that if you're heading towards any big goal, whether it be in the sporting arena or even in life, you've got to be adaptable. Things are going to go wrong. You know, you're going to get injured, you're going to get ill, you're going to miss days of training. But if you can adapt to the situation, stay positive and find ways of getting through that time out, you're going to come out the other end a better athlete, a better person. And I've learned a bit more about my body. I've learned what's going to be needed of me going forward in this training program, and I'm feeling good about it. So I'm going to make sure I implement those few things that I talked about. Going to make sure I'm doing proper warm-ups, proper cool-downs. Going to make sure I'm doing my accessory exercises regularly. I'm going to make sure I'm mixing up the terrain and just gradually introducing the tarmac into my training because I'm new to that. And finally, just not force that mileage. You know, if I've got a really difficult work schedule and I have to miss out on a couple of runs, it's not the end of the world. Anyway, hopefully that's the last hiccup in this training program and we'll be full steam ahead from now on. Can't guarantee that, obviously, but thank you very much for joining me. If you've got something from this video, do subscribe to the channel, hit the like button. Going to be more videos to come, so follow my progress and see you in the next video.